Hi, Josh. Josh, can you hear me? Hey, Josh, can you hear me? Josh, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. All right, Josh, you know if you're a replacement judge? You weren't on my list.
I just got the last screen tab just now.
I was looking at the wrong event. Sorry. You're right there.
All good.
Thank you. So
No problem.
we are broadcasting on YouTube, just FYI.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the channel is set up. No one's watching, but the channel is set up. So just so you know. And the students are going to start coming in soon. I'll admit them in a few minutes. If I see another judge come in, I'll let them in. But students get in. Good morning. We can see you. I guess it's afternoon now. I'm stuck in morning.
It's been happening a lot these days.
Yeah, exactly. And to our student who just joined, if you want to go ahead and change your name, that would be great. And give the judges your competitor number and your name. Thank you, Matilda. Hi, Sue.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Excellent. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Well,
Uh,
good to be here. I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
I've
Well,
got
um,
my lunch at the moment.
okay. Well, if you don't know, and I don't know if they told people in the judges meeting, we are broadcasting live on YouTube. We're live streaming. It has started already because we had to be able to have the link to give out to everybody. So just so you know, I don't think anybody's watching. I haven't checked it.
I would hope not.
Yeah, it says
You're going to enjoy me eating.
that's me. We do have one student with us so far. Once everything gets started, I'll put everything onto speaker view, and I'll let you guys run the round however you want to run it. I'll get in the background, and that's it. We've got one more judge ready to that'll be joining us hopefully soon.
Cool. Would it be possible? Probably not. But would it be possible to see a final round other than what we're doing?
Probably not unless someone's really delayed getting started, and we certainly hope not, because I think they're all just live streaming, and I don't think anything's recorded.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how's life?
You know, this has been a really interesting experience, this
Mhm.
online tournament. I mean, they're breaking new ground, and I actually think it's gone very well.
Yeah.
I mean, did you judge yesterday? Either of you?
No, I just did just today.
Just today. And Josh, what about you?
Yesterday.
You judged yesterday?
Pretty smooth, to be honest. Some hiccups,
Yep.
I mean, nothing outside of regular tournament. Extent prep runs long, and so then everything gets delayed. But that happens
That happens.
even without the virtual interface.
Right. Exactly. I had an extemp finals round once where the students got out of order.
Oh,
Oh my God. Because, you know, they question one another in the finals rounds, and then it was a whole thing.
So I'm an old enough alumni to remember when double cross entering was not permitted at the state tournament. And I can't even begin to fathom what matrixing those double entered extempors must look like.
Oh, I can't either. Why? Because that's a huge portion of the round that they're, yeah. All right, we've got another student ready to come in.
We also broke, we didn't have semifinals back in the day. So we would break 80 prosers to 6 people. So progress is not all bad.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Thank you for putting your number up and your name. Really appreciate it.
Sorry, I didn't realize I had to go on immediately. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Yeah, the settings are set so that whenever people come on, they are muted. I can unmute you or you can unmute yourself. But you are welcome to mute yourself in the meantime. We've still got some time before we're starting, I think. 12:45. Yeah.
so I must say, getting up and going to the living room as opposed to, traveling to some godforsaken place to traipse around some huge, enormous old school.
I know.
Really very nice.
It is very nice. I was able to get 3 loads of laundry done yesterday in addition to being at a tournament. That never happens.
Do you know happen to know where we could find the link to the YouTube stream? My partner would like to watch what it is I've been doing in here for the last 2 days.
Yeah, you know what? Let me try to put it in the chat window. And that should be it. And actually, it might be helpful if she went there and tried to watch it and see if it was in fact us or your partner, whoever your partner is. I shouldn't just say that.
That looks like us.
Is that us?
It sure is, but it is awkwardly delayed by about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's delayed by about 10 seconds. I was going to tell people not to have it on in the background. And if somebody in your house is watching it, make sure they're on headphones because it's going to be super weird.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have another student coming in. Hi, Caitlin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Nice to see you.
You too.
We're still waiting on people to file in and we're missing a judge, but they'll be here.
This is just a really random question, but when I was looking at Tab Room yesterday, when I looked at like the final rounds, it just looks super weird. I don't know if like that just is how it is, but I just the only way I could tell is it said like Ari led.
Yeah, if you managed to click on one name, it would show up the whole thing. But yes, it looks super weird, and now it's gone. I don't know if you tried to go there, but it's not even there anymore.
Oh,
Something weird was happening.
Tab Room just is like having a seizure right now.
Sometimes it has problems. Hi, Frank. Frank, I can see you, but I think you're still muted. It's working. Frank, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry.
All right, I can hear you now.
My name. Just focus.
Yep, thank you. All right, we have our judges.
Oh, I love having your piano behind you. That's a nice visual.
Oh, yeah. If only I knew how to play. I thought, this is the moment. Lockdown is the moment. I'm finally really going to have time. Yeah, turns out it was never.
Y'all set those lofty goals, and hey, the lockdown's still happening, so you haven't missed it yet.
There's still time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fun. All right, somebody was at the door and then they went away.
I have organized my entire house.
Have you really? If you're bored,
I've even done the basement and I'm halfway through the attic.
Oh my God.
Wow. Are you using Marie Kondo's method or?
No. I can't talk to the items.
Oh, sure.
I won't toss them. So
I was on that show, so I advocate for it passionately.
You're really on the show? I haven't watched. I watched one episode on Netflix, and then I got crazy, and I redid all my drawers. And it's a revelation, right? I mean, when she folds the t-shirts, completely life-changing.
Right? Yeah, I feel like I choose my shirts so much better now.
So much, and you can see everything. But I haven't gone back to it. But now I'll have to, because now I know someone famous.
Yeah, my boyfriend and I are episode 5, and
that's fantastic.
We have kept up with it. The desks are a little disorganized right now because we're working from home, but everything else is working.
Sure. Yeah. And aren't you glad you did that before you got stuck at home?
Yes, I think being among the clutter would have been a lot more stressful for sure.
No, I can tell you it is. Sure. Yeah.
I refer to myself as a victim of COVID-19 OCD.
Nice.
There's some fun wordplay in there, I'm sure, with the COD being in both, but
exactly.
It's not coming to me. I admit I'm not, I guess, all up on the up with technology, and I'm very impressed you can like live stream to YouTube a Zoom. That just feels like so many interconnecting parts to me.
Frank, so am I. Until yesterday morning, I did not know you could do that. But yeah, it is pretty neat. There is, I don't know if you have it, but there's about a 10-second delay on the YouTube stream.
Okay.
It's muted on, I have it in the background, but it has to be muted because it would be, you would hear yourselves in a horrible delayed echo.
So is your job to edit out anytime I swear or something? Yeah. Is that the idea? Okay.
No.
That was so boop and great.
That's great. All right. We have another student coming in.
Oh, right. I should do start round. Speaking of.
Hi, Nandini. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent, thank you, welcome. And you'll just want to go ahead and get your competitor number up on your screen there. Thank you. Good morning, Abby. I'm gonna unmute you for a second if you want to test your audio. And to whomever just came in whose screen says Scott Wow, I don't have a Scott in this round, so I'm gonna need you to turn on your camera and or change your name. Otherwise, I will have to boot you from the session. Hi, Pranav. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Sue and Frank, would you like to time individually, or are you both comfortable with me running timing?
I'm
I
so
am
comfortable with that.
thrilled to have you run time.
Fantastic.
I always lose
It's my
track.
pleasure.
Thank you, Josh.
I have like, I've been work from home for like 3 months now, so I have monitors on monitors and screen real estate for days. So
Nice.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Only 2.5 here, so you know.
I'm in New York City, so we got out a little ahead of y'all.
Okay.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, actually, only 1.5. I really am doing nothing here. Never mind.
Hi, Jack. How are you?
Good.
Excellent. Jack, you want to go ahead and get your competitor number up on the name tag?
Oh, yes, sure.
And I think we have, do we have everyone?
Sure.
Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? We have everyone. Caitlin, are you still with us? I think we might have lost the connection with Caitlin. Caitlin, I can't see you or hear you, and I can't unmute you, which makes me think somehow you've been thrown out of the session. If you can hear me, you may need to log out and back in again. So this may happen in the real session today. If it does, that would be the only time I would jump in and say, we've lost somebody and they're trying to get back in. If we lose a judge, in other words, if we lose a judge for a long period of time, I may jump up and stop you and say, can we please pause? cross our fingers that that doesn't happen. For any of the rest of you, if you're not performing, if you drop off, just drop back on. I will let you in. There's no need to do anything. I'll see your name pop up, okay? Just the same as anything worked yesterday, but I don't think we had a problem with that. I'm a little concerned about Caitlin, and we've still got a couple of minutes, so let's wait until she can get hers straightened out because something's not quite right there.
Hi, sorry I'm here. My
Okay.
battery was doing weird things.
Oh, that's okay, Caitlin. Just wanted to make
There
sure. There you go. All right. So once we get started, we are live streaming and we have been live streaming. I am going to put the video on speaker view at this point. If everyone will please mute your mics if you are not speaking, because otherwise you will be the person who is on the speaker view.
Oh, can we have them put titles up on chat?
Excellent. It's your round, Judge. So I'm going to step in the background, turn my video off, and the round is now up to the judge.
Wait, can I just ask you one quick question?
I'm here. I will be here the whole time. So yeah.
Oh, great. But for the purposes of the YouTube stream, the judges should mute themselves so it doesn't flip over to us if we're like laughing or something.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But do we have quorum? Is everyone here?
Yep. We have everyone. We did have everyone just a minute ago. Let me make sure. We have.
Perfect.
Yep. We have everyone.
Great. So if the competitors wouldn't mind just tossing your, I see you're all doing it, your title and author into the chat. Give the judges just a moment or two to write those down, and then we'll get started.
.302, just confirming you're also 1001, right, Pranav?
Yeah, that's my bad. That was for.
Okay. Well, automatic 7, there you go.
Are we ranking to 7 or giving 2 6s?
I think all 7.
Are there 7 in the other section too?
Oh, this is the final, so
this
there's
is
only
it?
7.
Ah,
All right. Do the judges all have titles we need?
Yep.
Fantastic. So let's start this out like a real finals with a round of congratulations to our competitors for making it to the state championship final round. Well done. Nice work, everybody. So we're going to go in order by the codes here. We'll start with Abby. From a timing perspective, I understand you all should have timers yourselves. So we're going to do a little countdown. I'll start the judge's official timer. As you start your timer, will that give you a couple extra seconds to get situated and get started if you're not standing directly in front of your computer. You should all know that there is a little bit of extra grace time today because of any dropout malfunctions. So we won't be super sticklers on a couple seconds here or there. So how we'll do this each time, once the judges are ready to start the round, I'll have the competitor count me in from 3, and on 0, I'll start our collective timer, and we'll share times afterwards. So I'm gonna mute myself. Judges, if you can mute yourselves. And Abby, why don't you get up and get started?
Awesome. So should I just count down from 3?
Yep, just give me a 3, 2, 1, and then we'll start. It's on your time.
3, 2, 1. My sister Lizzie died today. Wow. What a weird thing to say, you know, because it's true. I mean, it sounds like the kind of thing your English teacher would say during class, you know? My sister Lizzie died today. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. I mean, it's not like we didn't expect it. She's been missing for like months, always run away and shit. So mom and I were always like, Lizzie's gone. Not like we said it out loud or even said it at all. It was just always there, hanging in the air. Lizzie's gone, dot, dot, dot. Maybe that's what's different, you know? No ellipsis. It's, what do you call it? A declarative sentence, I think. Anyway, now it's the kind of sentence with a period at the end of it. Lizzie's gone, period. According to French philosopher Antoine Artaud, we don't die because we have to die. We die because our consciousness deemed it necessary. For Lizzie, death was necessary. But for Hannah, the struggle to live forces her to decide whether she will follow her own path in Girl by Megan Moston Brown. It's funny, you know, I didn't cry at all today. And I felt bad because you're supposed to feel bad when people die. But honest to God, all I could think about all day was that if I were going to jump off a bridge, like her, I wouldn't do it in the middle of July. And that's messed up, right? To be thinking about that instead of being sad. I would do it in November or the beginning of March. You know, one of those days when you wake up with a chill because it never really stops drizzling and the bridge would be a bit slippery and the water really cold and people would have to wonder, did she jump or was the handrail just too slick? But today was the kind of day where it was 98 degrees before noon. Not a cloud in the sky. And all anyone can mean to do is keep from sticking to the furniture. Mom hasn't spoken all week. I take it back. She hasn't spoken to me. She talked to the police officer who came to the house and she mumbled Lizzie's name to the receptionist at the morgue. I didn't go in. I couldn't. I just sat in a plastic chair and counted the number of tiles from my feet to the front desk. There's 72. Anyway, I'm glad I didn't go in with Mom. You know, to see the body and stuff. Because when people drown, they get all blue and bloated. You know, this one night, right before she ran away for good, this car pulled up to the front of the lawn and whoever's in the driver's seat sort of throws Lizzie onto the grass and she's lying there with her face in the ground. I don't know if she's. So I go out to see what's going on. And when I lean over to turn her over, she's laughing. And I'm so afraid Mom's gonna wake up or that the neighbors will see. So I just kind of drag Lizzie up the stairs into the bathroom and in the middle of it, Mom knocks on the door. So I grab a towel and lay it over Lizzie like she won't notice this huge lump in the corner of the bathroom. And I open the door just a crack so she can't see in. Mom asks why I'm up. If Lizzie came home. I say, yeah, Mom, she came home a little while ago. She's just sleeping. She looks at me right in the eyes. Normally she looks kind of over my head. And I know she knows I'm lying. But she says, good night, honey, see you in the morning. So I close the door and pinch my arm really hard so I can't see because all of this, it's a lot when you're 15 years old. With everything that's been going on, for a while now, I've been hurting myself. So this one night, the house was like suffocatingly quiet. So I used to razor. I usually don't. I use a razor. What happened?
Abby, I stopped the timer. It looks like we lost you for just a minute there. Do you want to go back maybe a section and then I'll restart you when you get to where we lost you?
Oh yeah, no problem. Sorry about that.
Not your fault.
Thank you very much.
Um,
On your time.
Awesome. Okay. 3, 2, 1. For a while now, I've been hurting myself. So that night, the house was like suffocatingly quiet. So I used a straight razor. I usually don't. I prefer the pink bit kind, you know, does the job, less damage. Anyway, I use the straight razor. When I do, it's like fireworks. Deep breaths. A good kind of weak at the knees, all at once. Until I noticed. I mean, there's no need to be graphic. Suffice to say, there's a lot of blood and it won't stop no matter how much pressure I put on, and I start to get nervous because I feel sort of faint. So I go to the hospital, which is good because they can stitch me up. But since I'm a minor and I know that my accident can't be the accident, I play it off to be. They call my mom. When the nurse comes in to tell me she's here to pick me up, I just don't really know what to say. So I just kind of stand there. She grabs my arm right above the stitches and she pulls me in like she's gonna hug me, which is, it's weird, right? I mean, it's okay with me though, if she really wants to. But instead, she looks at me right in the eyes and says, I'm not going down this road with you. The next morning I get up, mom's not at work. She's at home making plans for the funeral, which is 2 days away. She left a note with a doctor and an appointment time sitting on the kitchen table. I was so happy until I noticed that all the knives in the kitchen were gone. And my razor, you know, to shave my legs with, was missing. You know, I don't even know why we go through the motions. Like we're a real family or something. That night she served soup and a salad, you know, things you don't have to cut. She acts like I don't notice her peeking at my arms. It's not like she's gonna see anything anyway. I mean, I haven't stopped. I can't. It's the only thing in this entire mess that's just mine. The only thing keeping me sane is this stupid fantasy where I swoop everything off the table with one swoop of my arm and I stand up on a chair and maybe nod, and then I strip down to my underwear so she could see all the marks and the scars and I could tell her where each one is from. I'd say that this one is from when you left me and didn't come to my school play because you were searching for Lizzie all night. This one is because you yelled at me because Lizzie broke curfew for the 87th time. This I did after I cleaned the house, scrubbed the floors and everything, and you didn't notice because she had stolen the stereo. This one is from after we picked her up from jail. These are the last 6 months she was missing. This one is from when you left me in Lutz standing in front of a conveyor belt full of groceries and a line of angry customers because you thought you saw her in the parking lot. And while all the normal families were loading brown bags into their station wagons, I was the mother and I held your head in my lap while you cried because it wasn't her. And this one, that curves from my wrist, is because you haven't talked to me since Monday when she died. I'm still here. I still exist. But Lizzie's funeral's tomorrow. There's going to be a funeral tomorrow. I can go out. I walk downtown. The sky's gotten gray. Even though it's fucking July, it feels like November. It starts to rain, and I just keep walking because it feels good to be wet. And I keep walking until I reach the bridge. To be on it, the bridge, it's like really high. Like higher than I imagined in my head. I grabbed the railing and pushed myself over the ledge. God, it would be so easy to just
Thank you, Abby. Judges, let's just take a moment to finish up notes. I had a time of 10:35, which is within the added grace period that we're allowed for technical difficulties.
Beautiful, thank you.
Judges, just let me know when you're ready to move on.
I'm good.
Thanks, Frank. All right, I'm seeing a thumbs up ready. Matilda, you're up next.
Is this okay? Can you see and hear everything? All right.
We can see you just fine. So if you want to give me a 3, 2, 1, we'll start our timers together.
Okay.
And then feel free to step back and get ready to start.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
England, 932 AD, a kingdom divided. To the west, the Anglo-Saxons. To the east, the French. Up above, nothing but Celts and some people from Scotland. Legend tells us of an extraordinary leader who arose from the chaos to unite a troubled kingdom. A man with a vision who gathered knights together in a holy quest. This man was Arthur, King of the Britons, for this was England. Da 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 da. Come on, Patsy, now trot and what is Arthur, Arthur, King of the Britons. Oh, God, Arthur, King of the Britons, don't you grovel. If there's one thing I hate, it's people groveling. Every time I try to talk to someone, it's, I'm sorry this, and forgive me that. What are you doing now? I'm averting my eyes, O Lord. Arthur, King of the Britons, you shall gather knights together on a quest to make them an example in these dark times. Good idea, O Lord. Of course it's a good idea. I'm God. Now behold, Arthur, this is the Holy Grail. Look well, Arthur, for that is your purpose. The quest for the Holy Grail.
Have you ever been on a holy quest? Neither have I, but heard it's pretty cool. Spamalot by Eric Idle. Da 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 da. Halt! Old woman, man, whose castle is that over there? I'm not old. I'm 27. Well, I can't just call you man. You could call me Dennis. I object to you treating me as an inferior. Well, I am king. And how'd you get there, mate? By exploiting the workers. By perpetuating outdated imperialist dogma which perpetuates the economic and social differences in our society. Dennis! Who is this lovely lady? Hello, my name is Arthur, King of the Britons. I didn't know we had a king, son. I thought we were an autonomous collective. We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune, Mum. Then who does he think he is? I'm Arthur, King of the Britons. Because of this, Excalibur. I got it from the Lady of the Lake. Swords are no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from the masses, not some farcical aquatic ceremony. Well, then I'll prove it to you. Will you believe me if I can get the Lady of the Lake to knight you? Maybe. And so King Arthur gathered his knights together. Sir Bedivere, the newly knighted Sir Dennis Galahad, the homicidally brave Sir Lancelot, and Sir Robin, the not quite so brave as Sir Lancelot. Together they formed the Knights of the Round Table. Da 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 da. Halt! Hello? 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 Who is it? I'm Arthur, King of the Britons. Whose castle is this? The castle of my master, the French bastard. Tell him we're on a holy quest, that we need food and shelter, and that he can join us. Well, I'll ask him, but I don't think he'll be very keen. He's already got one, you see. Already got one? Are you sure? Oh, yes! It's very nice. Well, then can we come up and see it? No! You are English types. I'm French. Why do you think I have this outrageous accent? Well, if you do not let us come see the Grail, we shall take your castle by force. You don't flatten us, English pig dogs. Go and burn your bottoms, you sons of silly persons. I blow my nose at you, so-called Arthur King, you and all your silly English canigas. I don't want to talk to you no more. You animal-headed, food-trough water. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled her elderberries. Now go, before I taunt you a second time. Run away! Run away! Run away! Run away! Me! 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 Who are you? We? Are the knights who say me? No, no, not the knights who say me. The same! We are the sacred keepers of the word me, pen, and me. The knights of me demand a sacrifice. What is it you want us to do? Oh, knights who up until recently said me. We want a shrubbery. Where are we going to find a shrubbery? If you do not find a shrubbery, you will never pass through these woods alive. Da 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 da. Oh, Knights of Ni, here is your shrubbery. Ooh, that is a nice shrubbery. But there is one small problem. We are now no longer the knights who say me. We are now the knights who say icky, 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 bakangs on boom. Therefore, we must give you a test. What is it you want us to do, oh knights who up until recently said me? Oh, don't say that word. That is one word the knights of icky, 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 bakangs on boom cannot hear. What? Is? You can't say the word is. Of course, we can say the word is. You wouldn't get very far in life without saying is. Oh, stop it. Ow! Don't say it again. Oh, no. No, I said it. No, I said it again. No, I can't stop saying it. 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 Onward, knights. Da, 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 da. Who are you? I am an enchanter, but there are some who call me Tim. Greetings, Tim. Greetings, King Arthur. Carved upon this rock, there will be a clue which shall lead you to your goal. Thank you. Oh, of course, the Holy Grail will always be found in the hearts of all those who gather together and believe it. Oh. And so, when you're lost on life's trail and you feel doomed to fail, do not fail. Just set your sail and find your grail. You see, you must always look on the bright side of life. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Thank you.
Judges, that time was 8 minutes, 57 seconds.
Thank you. I'm good too, whenever you two are.
Give me just one moment. All right. Jack, you are up next.
Just tell me when you're ready, and I'll start.
Great. Do you want to count me down? 3, 2, 1, go? Or would you rather I count?
You can count. It's okay.
All right. Sounds good. 3, 2, 1, start.
Magic! If you think kids are born with this ability, the ability to levitate objects, the ability to turn enemies into frogs, the ability to turn water into wine, then you are wrong. This kind of magic takes years of dedication, years of preparation, and just like regular humans, potential witches and wizards receive this preparation from school, but not some ordinary school that dabbles in math and science. Instead, this school dabbles in potions and curses. Wizard High, one of the most secretive high schools in the entire world, located in one of the most secretive locations in the entire world. In Utah, somewhere. But even though this school and most schools have their differences, for the most part, the two are pretty much the same. They both have rigorous courses, intelligent teachers, and strict policies. And needless to say, they both have burnouts. That's what this story is about. A wizard school burnout named Jerry. Imagine a world where dreams come true, where magic is everywhere, where extempors have personalities, where unicorns and rainbows fly freely through the air. This is not that world. Jerry, a wizard school dropout by Brandon Daly. Sup? Even at the young age of 6, onlookers could notice Jerry's lack of enthusiasm in wizardry. Okay, class, today we are going to discuss what we want to be when we grow up. I would like to be a dermatologist. Jerry, don't you mean a wizard? No, I'm pretty sure I want to be a dermatologist. I think wizard is a more realistic goal for you, Jerry. But wizard! Aside from his idealism, Jerry also had a keen sense of humor for his age. Okay, class, it's time for recess. Everyone line up at the door. That is except for Jerry, who chose to lose his recess privileges when, instead of picking up the toys as asked, turned my coffee into monkey vomit. Yup, definitely monkey vomit. By middle school, most kids grew out of their immaturity. However, Jerry seemed stagnant. Now, if everyone has turned in their permission slips, we can hop on the bus and head off to visit the Unnatural History Museum. That is except for Jerry, who chose to lose his field trip privileges when he turned all of the cafeteria milk into monkey vomit. By the time Jerry hit high school, he was still the same old miscreant, and he certainly was no wizard. Okay, you sons of witches, I'd usually tell you to hit the showers after such heavy levitating as we did today. But it ends up that one of you seems to have turned the water in the war locker rooms into monkey vomit. Now, not sure which one of you little heathens pulled off this stunt. Thank God. But because Jerry's been doing this every day for the past 11 years, I can only assume it was him. For which you will be punished, Jerry. In fact, despite the thousands of rubies the wizard public was paying for kids like him to attend the school, the only real spell Jerry knew was how to turn liquids into monkey vomit. It was only so long before a dreadful student like Jerry completely derailed the tracks of success altogether. Today was that day. Okay, everyone. Today in spelling class, we are going to go over the pronunciation of spells that would turn your enemies into stone. Now I expect you all to repeat after me. Rigor mortis. Jerry, I didn't hear you cast that last spell. Would you like to join us? Or wait in the hall while we finish? Listen, Miss Crumblelums, I'm just not seeing any sort of purpose for a curse that turns enemies into stone. If I have an issue with somebody, I'd rather just talk it out with them instead of, rendering their body into a rock. Well, Jerry, you can sit in the hallway until you realize that violence is the way to solve problems, not words. What if I never realize that? Then I'm gonna have to fail you, and you're gonna have trouble getting into Wizard College with an F on your transcription. Like I'm going to wizard college anyway. Yes, there's no place for an idealistic dermatologist in the wizarding public school system. Hey there, Jerry. Sup, Wigbird the Destroyer? What are you doing out here in the halls? I got kicked out of spelling class. Well, if you want to join, me and a few bros are gonna drive around, maybe do a little black magic. Okay, I guess it wouldn't hurt. No, man, it wouldn't. In fact, it'll help, you know, expand your mind and stuff. So Jerry followed Wigberg out to Wigberg's custom van. The van was all worn down in purple, with a giant accountant airbrushed on the side door. Because just like nerds get wizards airbrushed on their custom vans, wizards get accountants. Gentlemen, this is Jerry. Jerry, I didn't know you black magicked. This is Jerry's first time, boys. Put on some music, Wigberg. Some music we can black magic to. Let's see. I've got Bob Merlin, the Voodooby Brothers, Fantasy CR, the Dumbledores, and fish. Whatever works. Yes, whatever does work when you do enough black magic. Jerry started out pretty lightly, but by the beginning of his senior year, Jerry was a regular magic head. Jerry, your father and I have been worrying. Lately, you've been out late and have slipping grades, and we're worried you've been getting into the black magic. I found this list of spells in your pocket while I was washing the laundry. I cast one on your father to see what it did, and he just spent the next hour and a half watching the Backyardigans, giggling. I ate 3 bags of Doritos that day. 3! Sorry, Dad. It won't happen again. But it happened again. So before the second semester of his senior year, Jerry decided to drop out. The magic had destroyed him. He no longer dreamed of becoming a dermatologist. Eventually, Jerry's mom and dad kicked him out. Lost, homeless, a heavy black magic addiction. None of these were good things. So Jerry decided to get a job at the Wizard Elementary as a bus driver. Hey, knock it off back there. Quit trying to sacrifice that 3rd grader. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and shut up. Everybody shut up or I'm gonna drive this bus off a cliff. You can't do that. You can't do anything to us. You're just a wizard school dropout. Be quiet. I bet he doesn't even know how to reverse a stone spell. Listen, kid, I don't need this harassment. Oh yeah? Rigor mortis. Now, unfortunately for Jerry, he actually did not know how to reverse the spell. Eventually, one of the kids did it for him. However, this was only after the bus careened over the side of a bridge into a rapidly flowing river. Citron Rogier! Oh God, look what you've done. How are we going to get out? Now, even though Jerry's brain had been fried from the years of black magic, he was still quick on his feet with idealism. Quick, kid, give me your wand. Ad Astra Paraspora. And with the simple flick of his wand, Jerry turned the entire river into monkey vomit. Ew, gross! Because of the gallons of monkey vomit surrounding the stranded vehicle, it gracefully came to a halt. Because everyone knows that monkey vomit is one of the thickest types of vomits a person can find. Eventually, the police arrived and helped levitate everyone out of the bus. And Jerry finally felt like he had done something important. Congrats, Jerry. You're a hero. I mean, that is if you exclude the fact that you drove a bus full of children into a river. So when do you think you can reverse this whole river full of monkey vomit thing? Reverse it? Meh. Thanks again for your help, Jerry. The world needs more people like you. So Jerry, the wizard school dropout, no longer drove the bus angrily or hate-filled. Instead, he drove that vomit-reeking automobile with the realization that he had put his thumbprint on the world. You can take this story in 2 ways. 1, that everyone was put here on this earth for a reason. Or 2, that monkey vomit can come in handy every once in a while. Thank you.
Time, judges, was 9:42.
Thank you.
Caitlin, give us just a moment.
Sorry, was that 9:42?
9:42, yep.
Thank you. Great.
All right, Frank, are you all set?
Good to go. Thank you.
All right, Caitlin.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can. Would you like me to count you in, or would you like to count in?
I can count in.
Sounds good.
3, 2, 1. The day my mother found out she was dying, she asked me to go out and buy her these. Clear glass marbles. Dad and I didn't even know she was ill. Oh, which was nothing new. Whenever you asked my mother if she was ill, she would just throw things at you. Sesame Bun, the editorial page, a handful of hair ribbons. Do not, she would say, suggest things to suggestible people. So I brought her the marbles. She counted 19 of them out, put them in this old cut glass bowl that was the sum total of Great Aunt Helena's estate. Apparently the doctors had given her 3 months, and she always set great store by doctors. She said she believed them because they were the nearest thing to the Old Testament we had. I wouldn't give you 2 bits for these young smiley guys, she'd say. Give me a good stern furrowed physician. She wouldn't even get her teeth cleaned by dentists under 50. So she counted out the marbles, put them in the bowl on her bedside table. Then went out and bought $1,200 worth of nightgowns. She said, in my family, you're only dying when you take to your bed. And that, my darlings, is where I'm going. And she did. Playwright Tom Stoppard once wrote, "Here 1 minute and gone the next, and never coming back." An exit, unobtrusive and unannounced. Following the death of her mother, Laurie struggles to come to terms with such a loss and is faced with the question of how she will move on. Clear Glass Marbles by Jane Martin. Oh, we hashed it around. Dad thought she couldn't possibly be dying. The doctors convinced him. I said it seemed a little medieval to lie in a state of their. She didn't want to be distracted from what she loved. Us. What she wanted to mow. And besides, she said there was nothing outside except for drugstores and dry cleaners and supermarkets. So given her condition, they were beneath her dignity. I asked her what she intended to do up there. She said study French visit with us, generally mull and maybe call a few pals. Study French. She said she made a pledge to herself years ago that she would die bilingual. Dad and I cried a lot. She didn't. He was fun to cry with. From then on, the doctor said to come see her because, as she put it, she had come in with a house call and she was going out with the house call all day, every day. She would just hold one of these marbles in her hand. Why? She said it made the day longer. Mother always had her own room. I don't know, it was that way as long as I can remember. She called Dad the Thrasher. He could really get into a nightmare, and apparently early on in their marriage, he had flipped over and broken her nose. So that was it. Separate beds. Her room was spare, really. Wood floor, old steel and brass bed, oak dresser, bedside table. Don't ask me why. A hat rack. No pictures on the walls. She never understood how people could look at the same darn thing day after day. Said it was bound to deflate the imagination. Dad and I would sit with her after dinner and talk about issues. She said that she was too far gone for gossip, or we'll be for lunch. In a little while, we'd all turn in. I would just hear. Happened every night. 3 or 4 days later, I found one on the floor, went to pick it up. She said, "Leave it." She said it very sharply. I asked why. She said that she was learning to let go of them. She passed the time. There were things she wanted. She made a list of old children's books from her childhood, and we got as many of them as we could from the library. She still said they were the only good books she'd ever read. And she showed my father how to do the medical insurance and how she handled the accounts and who went through her jewelry. She wrote down the names of the roofers and the plumbers and the air conditioning people. She called it wrapping up. "This is good," she said. "I'm wrapping it up." Next part isn't really worth going into. It was just hard. Do you know, from the very beginning, down to the last second, she never admitted to any pain. Never. She called it the chills. I was lying in bed 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, when and there and in there. As the table was turned over, she was gone. Dead. When the emergency medical people got here, they found this. The rest spilled over when the table fell. This one was still in her hand. I keep it. Keep it in my hand all day. Makes the day longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Judges, that was 9 minutes, 18 seconds. All right. Frank, are you all set?
You betcha.
Then let us welcome Aaron.
Sorry, is it okay if I do just a countdown 3, 2, 1?
That's just fine, Aaron.
Thank you so much.
You got it. I'm going to mute now.
3, 2, 1. I had a very confusing evening. What was confusing about it, Bill? A whole mess of stuff. Very confusing indeed. Confusing like how? Confusing like well, a Rubik's Cube stuck in a Sudoku puzzle. I have no idea what that means. What's wrong, Bill? Anything? Everything, all of it? I just don't know, Baba. I don't know. Okay, Bill. My patience level is ridiculously low right now. Just tell me, why did you call me and wake me up at 3 in the morning? Well, I don't know, Bob. Why do you think? Well, it's up 3 a.m. You call me into an empty parking lot. I assume you're planning to murder me. Wait, you actually think I'm planning to murder you? No, I'm just making a joke to break the tension. Oh, it's good, excellent, very good, excellent. Okay, now I actually think you're planning to murder me. Oh, don't be silly. I'm not going to murder you. Then why am I here? Well, that is an interesting question. And the answer is equally interesting. However, by the virtue of being interesting, it is also very difficult to explain. It's 3 in the morning, Bill. Spit it out. Let's pause for a moment and think about famous friend duos like Abney and Costello, Beavis and Butthead, or even Bert and Ernie. What do they all have in common? Oh, one is always bailing out the other. Have you ever had a friend that always gets in trouble and always needs your help to get out of it? Well, in this story, we encounter two characters, Bill and Bob, who have a unique dilemma that only true friends can understand. 3 a.m. wake-up call by E.R. Schultz. Okay, so you know on evenings on the street corners, there are often stationed a large number of, well, I guess you could call them performance artists. Are you talking about prostitutes? Well, that's a highly civilized term. I'm sure they prefer to be called the nighttime entrepreneurs or expensive evening friends or professional huggers. Bill, what are you talking about? Why am I in this freezing cold parking lot at 3 a.m.? Okay, calm down. Let me approach this from a different direction. So you know the movie Dumbo, where the guy's just driving down the street, minding his own business, until he takes his eyes off the road for about a second or two and accidentally hits one of these so-called evening friends, freaks out, and throws the body in the trunk. Bill! Oh my God! What the hell? Oh, it's not Dumbo? No, that is not Dumbo, you lunatic! Dumbo is a cartoon about an adorable elephant that learns to fly through a day, for Christ's sake! Oh, you know what I did? I mixed up my movies. Bill, are you honestly trying to tell me that you killed a prostitute and stuffed the body in your trunk? But I don't recall admitting to that. So you're saying if I were to walk over to your Prius right now, I would not find the body of a dead prostitute? Well, you could hardly expect yourself the top of my head to be able to account for all that clutter in my car. Bill, a dead prostitute is not clutter. A dead prostitute is a dead goddamn prostitute. Okay, I'm sorry, Bob. I took my eyes to the road. That's all. That's all. Do you have any idea what kind of trouble you're in? Okay, Bob, I think you're being a little melodramatic. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I'm standing in a freezing cold parking lot at 3 a.m. with my friend who called me to discuss the prostitute he just murdered. Oh God, you committed murder. Oh God, you're a murderer. Good Lord, you are playing the murder me, aren't you? Okay, Bob, this is hardly the time to freak out. This is exactly the time to freak out. I'm tired. I'm scared. I'm freezing. It's the middle of December. I feel like I'm reenacting the last ever of the Titanic. Alrighty. Who's Kate and who's Leo? What? Well, who's Kate and who's Leo? At first I thought I wanted to be Leo, but he dies. So now I really don't know, who do you think I am? Huh. You want to know who you are? You're the guy with the dead prostitute in his trunk, Bill. Okay, Bob, are you really going to hold this over my head for the rest of the time? No, not for the rest of the time. Just until the justice system shows up and does it for me. Okay, Bob, you're starting to freak me out a little bit. I should hope so. You murdered someone. Bill, you have to go to the police. Well, that's just silly, isn't it? It's not silly. It's what you have to do. Listen to me, Bill. You have to take your Prius and your prostitute down to the police station and turn yourself in. Well, that would be a bit of an overreaction, don't you think? Okay. You know what? If you're not going to go down to the police station, I'm going to go down there and do it for you. I wouldn't do that if I were you. And why's that? It's a long story. Tell it. You're not going to like it. I gave up on liking your stories after you told me about the one with the dead prostitute. Just tell me. Okay, so you know how I was invited to go golfing next weekend, and I didn't have any golf clubs, so you very kindly lent me yours. Well, after I ran over the exotic saleswoman, just call her a prostitute. Yes, well, anyway, I naturally got to the car to see what was up and was quickly approached by I guess you could call him bodyguard/employer. Her pimp? You were approached by her pimp? Well, that's one way to put it. Personally, I like bodyguard/employer. It is a more polite moniker. Yes, but anyway, he was very unhappy. He was yelling and screaming, and he had this great big vein shooting out his forehead. Yes, well, anyway, he was starting to freak me out a little bit. So I slipped on some gloves, grabbed one of your golf clubs, and hit him over the head with it. You did what? The vein was extremely off-putting. So you hit him over the head with it? I did hit him quite hard. Is he dead? Well, God, Bob, he's in the trunk. Why don't you ask him yourself? Oh my God, I can't believe you got a pimp, a prostitute in the trunk of your Prius. I know. The guy at the dealership said this car had kick-ass storage capacity, but I always assumed he was lying until tonight. That's not the point, Bill. Then what is the point, Bob? My point is, you take your Prius, your pimp, and your prostitute down to the police station and turn yourself. Wait, why did you slip on gloves? What's that new? Before you hit the pimp with the golf club, you said you slipped on gloves. Why? Well, they weren't my golf clubs. So? They didn't have my fingerprints on them. Oh God, they had my fingerprints on them. Oh God, I'm your accomplice. Well, I prefer sidekick, but accomplice works too. What do we do? What do I do? This is terrible. This is just terrible. Okay, well, calm down. It's not that bad. Excuse me. When would you know I spoke too soon? Oh my God, it's the cops. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Excuse me? What are you two gentlemen doing out here this hour? I sold golf clubs. You think I can take a bill? Relax, okay? I got this. Just trust me. Okay, you got this. Go. For the second time. What are you two gentlemen doing out here this hour? I'll tell you what we're not doing, officer. That is discussing the prostitute stuffed in my trunk. Bill, I'm going to murder you. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Judges, that time was 9:46.
Thank you.
May I begin?
Just one moment.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. All right, everyone, let's welcome Nandini. Let me know if you'd like me to count you in or if you want to count me in.
Can you count me in?
I'll be happy to.
Okay.
So we'll go 3, 2, 1, start. Ready?
You needn't look at me like that. I never asked to be a vampire. Little children generally want to grow up to be cowpokes or astronauts or be underwriters like their mothers. Not too many kids sit around imagining what it would be like to live on blood and to live forever. Forever, okay? Groucho Marx had once said, I intend to live forever or die trying. Well, it didn't work out so well for Groucho, but really, would you want to live forever? I mean, forever, it's a long time. This vampire reminds us that it's not so easy. Forever Okay by Sandra De Helen. It's not all that great, actually. Oh, sure, it's fun not having to worry about where your money comes from. But the next meal is always a challenge. And there are some people you would prefer to be friends with for a few years. And then one night, you get hungry. Well, there you are. That's life. And the worst part of that is that then you have the money. And I always end up taking a little trinket to remind me of my little friend. And then the guilt sets in. It's a lot like being a vegetarian. Well, it is. Think about it. Most vegetarians are opposed to eating meat. Not because it isn't good for them, because that is debatable, but well, think about it. Oh my God. Can I start again?
Sure.
Sorry. Okay.
You're fine. I'm going to give you a slow count, okay?
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1, go.
You needn't look at me like that. I never asked to be a vampire. Little children generally want to grow up to be cowpokes or astronauts or be underwriters like their mothers. Not too many kids sit around imagining what it would be like to live on blood and to live forever. Forever, okay? Groucho Marx had once said, I intend to live forever or die trying. Well, it didn't work out so well for Groucho, but really, would you want to live forever? I mean, forever, it's a long time. This vampire reminds us that it's not so easy. Forever Okay by Sandra De Helen. It's not all that great, actually. Oh, sure, it's fun not having to worry about where your money comes from. But that next meal is always a challenge. And there are some people you would prefer to be friends with for a few years. And then one night, you get hungry. Well, there you are. That's life. And the worst part of that is that then you have their money. And I always end up taking a little trinket to remind me of my little friend. And then the guilt sets in. It's a lot like being a vegetarian. Well, it is. Think about it. Most vegetarians are opposed to eating meat. Not because it isn't good for them, because that is debatable, but because they're opposed to killing. So then they have to pretend that they don't have to kill in order to eat. But do they only eat nuts that fall on their sidewalks in October? Do they only eat fruit after it hits the ground? And if they do they carefully pick it up and take out its seeds and scatter them around the trees intended? Of course they don't. They feel guilty. See, everybody has to eat or we die. The instinct for survival is just as strong in vampires as it is in humans. For one thing, vampires all start out as humans. Pretty scary, huh? That means you could become a vampire. Even if you don't want to. I was bit on an artery the day I turned 13. And I fainted when I came to. I was no longer a simple human being. I had the hunger. What do you do all day? Do you have some sort of job that takes you out of the house 5 days a week? Do you go to school? Or do you work from home? I don't do any of that stuff myself. I can't go out during the day, you know? Daylight and fire. 2 things that could get me killed. So, I take night classes. I once took every class offered at Harvard after dark. Even though I don't have an actual diploma, I tell people, I went to Harvard. Pretty impressive, huh? You might remember reading about that period in history. Cambridge had a lot of unexpected deaths and disappearances while I was in night school. When I get worried about getting caught, or I just get bored, or I can't find anything to eat, I bury myself in the ground for a few years and take a nap. Every now and then, humans remember that vampires are real, and then they start hunting us. Most of the times, I'm careful to destroy any evidence. But every now and then, I get a little careless, and then I have to move on or go underground. Humans are pretty funny about vampires, you know? You do all sorts of things to try to ward us off, like wearing crosses or garlic. Crosses! What is so scary about crosses? They represent immortality, for Christ's sake. And as for garlic, it is my favorite aroma. The smell of fettuccine with clam sauce and fresh garlic on top. Catching me on fire would work if you were really bent on destroying me. But no one has ever tried that yet. But why would you want to destroy me, that is? I'm simply just culling out the population. Don't you believe that when it's your time, you go? I do. I don't seek out the desperate or depressed, but when I have the hunger, I believe I'm guided to the ones whose time has come. I don't get hungry all that often, you know. I go as long as I can. I'm not greedy. I'm not a glutton. In fact, when I first became a vampire, I was so squeamish. But there comes a time when the hunger just takes over. Again, I think vegetarians can relate. You've seen vegetarians in McDonald's, right? Chowing down on Big Mac and fries, right? They don't even see you. Their eyes are glazed over and they're trying desperately not to believe that they're eating meat. Later, they slink out, hoping no one has seen them. And then they go home and feel guilty until they can forget about making their little trip to Mickey D's. Well, being a vampire is nearly the same. Other than eating, my life is pretty good. Maybe I'll join a group. It might make me feel better about my eating habits. I'm not much of a joiner though. I'm more of a loner. It's a rough life and it's forever. Sometimes when you are thinking about your own death and being afraid of it, not wanting it to happen, just think about me for a moment, will you? Not that I want your sympathy, but I would like even a glimmer of your understanding. Just think, forever.
Judges, that time was 7:33.
Thank you.
All right, Frank, are you all set?
Yep.
Great. Then let's welcome up our final speaker, Pranav.
Is it possible to sync up times? Because I can time on my own while you guys time. Is that possible?
Say that one more time. Sorry, I lost your audio.
Yeah, sorry. Can we sync up times so like I have a timer on my own so I can time myself while you guys are timing? So we can like set the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, that's cool.
Why don't you count me down then? 3, 2, 1, start the timer, and I'll do the same thing on my end.
Okay, cool. 3, 2, 1.
You realize my parents never physically saw each other? 30 years ago, in a town in India, population 90,000 or so, now that's a pretty small town, my dad heard a buzz in the streets about a woman named Seema, my mom. I'm like, guys, Seema was that chick! You know, she was wearing that red dress, her family owned a camera, and my dad was like, a camera! So he ran all the way to my grandfather's house and laid it on the line. I'm going to America, I'm going to marry Seema, YOLO. And in 10 minutes, the man married a woman he had never laid eyes on. Now, don't you get it? That's just Tinder with no photos. And I think it's that immigrants love secrets, right? They love balling them up deep inside and then unleashing them at you when it's no longer relevant. Mom's a ninja? Dad's a communist? Why are you telling me this right now? You know, every conversation with my dad is like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. 90 minutes of buildup to no payoff. So my dad marries my mom and they come to the States and have me in Davis, California. But my mom has to go back to India to finish up med school. So for the first 8 years of my life, it was just me and my dad trying to kick it in the USA. Being an Indian is a blessing. From the kurtas to the curry, well, that's mostly what we're known for. It's fantastic. However, being brought up into a different culture often overtakes those morals and traditions, sometimes to an extreme. For famous comedian Hasan Minhaj, this extreme is portrayed as racism, as it showed through every aspect of his life, and how at the end of the day, whether you're a minority or not, we all want to be as cool and as hip as the Homecoming King by Hasan Minhaj. Now, roll call was a problem, all right? It was a big deal. For example, my friend's name was Jasuria, but my English teacher pronounced it as Jasuria. My name is Hasan Minhaj, and you know, I would get Hasan Minhaja? No. Hasan Minhaj. Sahan Minha? No, Hasan Minhaj. Saddam Hussein, and it was my English teacher who would mispronounce my name. My English teacher. But how could I blame her? I was the only brown kid at school, and Dad was the only brown guy at work. So in a weird way, it brought us together. Try to understand us immigrant fathers. Now, my parents were like a firewall to the outside world. They disseminated information to me. It was like living in North Korea. So when 9/11 happened, my dad sits us all down and he goes, Hassan, whatever you do, do not tell people you are Muslim or talk about politics. And then the phone rings. Bring, bring. And it was like it was in slow motion. I ran to get the phone, but my dad beat me to it. And he hears a voice on the other end. Hey, you! 261 Regatta Lane, that's you, right? You sand trash. I'm going to come to your house and kill you. And he puts the phone down. And it was like it was in slow motion again. I ran to the garage. And all the windows in our car are broken. And I opened up my backpack. Zzz, but shards of glass get stuck on my arm. And now blood is gushing down my arm. And my dad finally looks at me and he goes, Hassan, this is the price we pay for being here. And it will continue to happen because we are Muslim. And honestly, nobody loves this country more than me. I fell in love here, all right? When I was 6 years old, I ran up to Janice Mallow in the sandbox and I said, I love you. You're the color of poop. In the 3rd grade, Miss Anderson asks everyone, write what you want to be when you grow up. Some kids wrote, a firefighter, an astronaut. And I wrote, I want to be white. Huh? I want to be white. I want this part of my skin to be white. And folks, now that I'm saying it, I don't hate melanin. I love melanin. I have never gotten a sunburn. I am #blessed. So, by my senior year of high school, I had yet to go to the school dance, and I had been cut from the basketball team. So, we're out here living it. But there was this one bright spot. This girl named Bethany Reed. She sat behind me in AP Calc, but in reality, we had chemistry, yeah. And so one day I asked for her AIM screen name. And, we kept texting late night on AIM. And, sometimes the computer wouldn't even work, all right? It just went beep, boop, boop, bop. We were like cavemen, people, cavemen. And so one night she asked me, hey, come over. So I bike over to her place, bring, bring, and I open the door, and her mom was there. So we decided to study, and Beth asks me, hey, we always study at my place. Why don't we study at yours? Ha! Invite you over to my place? Are you kidding me? You're just gonna ask me all sorts of questions like, hey, what are you cooking? Hey, what language are you speaking? Hey, are you in any way related to Osama bin Laden? No. I am not opening myself up to that. But I decided to invite her over. And I ran up to my mom and dad the next day and I was like, Mom, Dad, a school friend is coming over, so everyone, please try to be less Indian. And to my luck, my mom and dad are arguing in Hindi. Naan is being fried on the stove, and Indian soap operas are playing on the TV. This girl's from Nebraska. It goes from Soul Cycle to yoga, and then to Indian soap operas. And I look at Beth, and I'm like, hey, please don't say anything, all right? I mean, I know situation at home is a little bit weird, but please, try to be with me. And Beth, she looks at me and she goes, hey, we should do this more often. Oh my God, I love you, my white princess. I don't have to change who I am. I can be me. And so the next day I ran up to my dad again and I'd say, Dad, can I please go to prom? And my dad was like, I am going to break your face. Duly noted, father. So I call up Beth and I'm like, bring, bring. Hey, Beth, the situation at home, father doesn't want us to go to prom. So what I'm gonna do, that I'm gonna jump off my 3-story apartment, land on my bike over to your place, dance it up, and if I die, I would have had a great run. You know, put it on the tombstone, Hassan Minaj, 4.3 GPA, kissed a white girl. What a way to go. So the night of prom rolls around, and I put on the JCPenney suit, spray on the MJ cologne, 6 puffs, 1 for each championship, of course. And I bike over to her place. Bring, bring. And I press on her doorbell. Ding dong. And Beth is standing there, and her mom's there with a look of concern on her face. And she says, oh, honey, did we not tell you? Sweetie, we love you. We think you're great, but tonight is one of those nights. We have a lot of family back home in Nebraska, and well, we don't think you're a good fit because you're Muslim. She slams the door. And I bike back home, pring, pring. And I play Mario Kart. And that's the nicest I've been dressed playing Mario Kart. I wish I said, screw that, I'm going to the dance with you. But I didn't. Who was I to ruin their picture-perfect celebration? I'd eaten off their plates, kissed their daughter. I didn't know people could be bigoted even when they were smiling at you. Because it's so hard to know that someone says they love you and they don't mean it at all. But me and Beth promised each other to follow our dreams. And eventually I got a gig for Jon Stewart. And I caught my mom, she was crying. I caught my dad, he was crying. And I run outside. I almost got hit by a car, but that does not matter. I had to drop the greatest status update ever. So don't you see, people? I'm the cure for racism. I mean, some people were put on earth to solve Ebola or cancer, but my life is definitive proof that through all my challenges, once you go brown, you must lock that shit down. Thank you.
Thanks, Pranav. Judges, that was 10:27.
Great, thank you.
And I believe that's our last competitor. Congratulations again to everybody for making finals. Best of luck. And everybody have a wonderful summer.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.